Shalom. First of all, I'd like to start by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. So today it's going to be all about the news, all right, reminding us of the time that we're living in. So what I've done is made a collection of articles during this week and any surrounding news regarding World War III. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to jump straight to it and go to Matthew 24, and I start from the 6th verse. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." So it's good to use the news to, to support this scripture, man, because the time that we're living in is a time of war, all right? And World War III is imminent in the time that we're living in. So what we do is we go through the various news, which is basically in support of this scripture, man, where people are, rumoring that there's people preparing themselves with war, such as making new weapons or boasting about their military might. But we're going to go into those articles to further, prove this scripture. It says, "See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places." So let's go into the articles to see how these rumors of wars are taking place. So the first article I'm going to go into is from theexpress.co.uk. I'll wait for it to load up here. It says, "Saudi Arabia vows to take on Iran amid warnings region in a dangerous abyss." It says Saudi Arabia has warned it will not hesitate to defend itself against Iran amid warnings the region is being pushed into a dangerous abyss. All right, it's got a small video there, but any news that I bring out, feel free to type in the title on Google and watch the small caption videos. But for lack of time, I'm just going to read through a few points on each article. It says, "Fears of World War III, keyword World War III, have increased in recent weeks amid a spiraling fallout between the Saudi monarchy and Tehran." All right, and we know it to be prophecy that Russia's allies, which is Iran, is going to go up against NATO and their allies, which is these Arabs, right? It says it came following the surprise resignation of Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri, a close ally of Riyadh. All right, so that's one article, man. I ain't gonna go all up into too many articles in depth, but I'm gonna just read a few points on each one. All right, so the next article is from RT News. This one says Israeli minister reveals contacts with Saudi Arabia to curb Iran. It says a senior Israeli official has said Tel Aviv has partly covert ties with many Muslim and Arab countries, including Riyadh. With the absolutist kingdom, Israel is now working on common concerns over Iran, the cabinet minister said. All right, so the so-called white man in the form of these so-called Jews, they have a hand, all right, in the in going against these Iranians. All right, I'm gonna read on. It says the connection with the moderate Arab world, including Saudi Arabia, is helping us curb Iran. All right, because as you know, these so-called Jews have their hands in every pie, whether it be warfare and whether it be economics. All right, making money and so forth, oil, trade, whatever it be. So he's one of the so-called white man is the main. These so-called Jews, shall I say, are the main people that have a hand and an interest in World War III. Energy Minister Yuval Steins said in an interview on Israel's army radio Riyadh, with which Tel Aviv does not have diplomatic ties, is not the only not so obvious Israel's partner in the region. The minister preferred adding that his country is usually the party that is not ashamed of such contacts. Alright, we're going to move on to the next article. So, as you're seeing, brothers, you're seeing that there's tension between these various powers of the West against Iran at this time at this time that we're living in. Okay. So moving on. Next article, Salakia, is Saudi Arabia and Arab allies push for unity against Iran, Hezbollah meddling. Let's click on that. So all these articles are really in highlight that we're near to the end, man. Alright, we're really close to the end, and World War III, you know, these are all rumors of wars. So Saudi Arabia and Arab allies push for unity against Iran. So all these nations that are, you know, allies with each other, they really want to spearhead going after Iran, because, you know, according to prophecy, you know, they really want to go up against Russia and their allies, which Persia is the real name, the original name of Iran. And in prophecy, you know, Russia was going to be a guard unto their allies, such as Iran. So really, it's an indirect attack on Russia. So let's go into this a bit more. It says Cairo Reuters, Saudi Arabia and other Arab foreign ministers criticized Iran and its Lebanese Shiite ally Hezbollah at an emergency meeting in Cairo on Sunday, calling for a united front to counter Iranian interference. Regional tensions have risen in recent weeks between Sunni monarchy, Saudi Arabia and Shiite Islamist Iran over Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri's surprise resignation and an escalation in Yemen's conflict. Alright, so that's that on that article, man. I'm just gonna go through as many as I can so that it adds to the point. Now the next article is called Blinding Israel's Defense. Turkish media says Ankara could disable US radar over F-35 deal threat. Let's click on that, man. Let's keep it moving. Now these are recent articles, man, showing you what's going on right now. Blinding Israel's defense. Turkish media says Ankara could disable US radar over F-35 deal threat. Alright, and Turkey is supposed to be a part of NATO, but recently, you know, there's tension between the US and Turkey because of what happened over there. You know, people tried to overthrow the government and so forth, and it didn't work. But because of the so-called US's so-called part to play in supporting Turkey and failing to do so, Turkey's reconsidering their position in NATO. So I'm read on the article. It says an editorial in a Turkish conservative pro-government newspaper said Ankara could leave Israel exposed to an Iranian missile attack by disabling the US radar station in retaliation for a possible Washington ban on the purchase of F-35 fighter jets. There you go, man. So Israel is basically ready to catch a nuke, all right? A missile from Iran. So that's more evidence supporting, a war between one people and another people. All right, let's go on, man. That's why it's always good to keep checking the news, and it supports the scriptures. Saudi crown prince says Iran's Ayatollah is the new Hitler. All right, Saudi crown prince Mohammed bin Salman has claimed that Iranian Ayatollah ally Khamenei, I can't pronounce his name, forgive me, is the new Hitler of the Middle East in his latest profile by the New York Times. So they're really demonizing the elites of Iran right now, all right, comparing them to Hitler, which is, as you know, a main face regarding World War II, all right, and really creating propaganda to spearhead World War II. So in comparing Iranian elites to Hitler is really trying to catalyst or speed up this World War III. And lastly, I'm gonna take an article from the sun.co.uk. It says VLAD'S Sea Monster, Russia launches deadliest super sub that can fire nuke missiles further than its US rivals. So that's a competition of who can reach further and whose technology is more advanced. All right. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin has unveiled his navy's most powerful nuclear submarine, which can easily outgun its American rival. And there's a caption of 5 pictures, which you now see on the screen, loading up. You can see that there's obviously tension between the US and Russia, and it's taking some time to load. To be honest, it probably won't load. Oh, let me just show you the pictures as you can see them. So yeah, man, there's tension between Russia and the US, and basically by Russia Today posting these images and this article is basically to in defense of Russia and its allies, to say basically don't mess with us, don't try and attempt to come against the Russia and their allies, because their opposition has more capabilities than the US has, and if you were to try anything, you're only going to end up being destroyed, which is a part of prophecy anyway. So you can see that it's the so-called white man's time to go down. All right, America in prophecy is going to be destroyed, and even though America is going to be destroyed, Russia is also going to catch a couple nukes as well. So this is the time of the demise of the so-called, the complete destruction of the so-called white man's rulership. So through this article and all the other articles that I've brought out, I hope brothers are edified regarding rumors of wars and wars that World War III, which is imminent and will be in full effect at any time as we speak. So anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.